Can we bring you nice and quick? Maybe
Where?
up a step to
There?
there. One more, maybe.
One more. Members of the press, thank you very much for coming. And I'm reading a statement by the Dean and Chapter, and I'm doing it as visitor to the cathedral. York Minster's governing body, the Chapter of York, is responsible for ensuring that the Minster is a safe place for everyone who steps inside it. This means that managing and managing and minimizing risk to people and the building, and includes safeguarding health and safety and security. Earlier this summer, it was necessary for the chapter to take action regarding a member of the bell-ringing community on safeguarding grounds. This came after complex multi-agency activity involving City of York Council, York Diocese Safeguarding Advisor, and the Church of England National Safeguarding Officer. The decision was taken in line with the advice from safeguarding professionals and with regard to national policies and guidance, including the Church of England's on minimizing risk to children, young people, and vulnerable adults. Some members of the York Minster Society of Change Ringers have consistently challenged the chapter's authority on this and other important matters. Repeated disregard of the chapter's attempt to fully implement the Church's national policies of safeguarding, health and safety and security meant that decisive action was required. This is why the chapter took the decision to disband the bell-ringing team last week. New arrangements for bell ringing at the Minster will start in the new year. That ends the statement. So thank you for coming.
So, Your Grace, it's the bell ringer's fault then, is it, that this has happened?
Well, no. When you're dealing with matters of health and safety, safeguarding, as well as security, you carry out an inquiry. And as you heard, it was multi-agency inquiry, and that inquiry revealed that the policies had not been followed, and they had to be put into place, and therefore the only way you could deal with it was disband the whole groups that you begin afresh and put in place. And the reason why you say, they didn't tell us before that that was a question, remember, the thought should be about some vulnerable people, and they've been consulted. They agree that the statement be put out as it is.
But wouldn't it have been better to have had some kind of meeting with them to discuss your fears about safety generally? Because what they're saying, I don't know whether it's right or wrong, but what they're saying is that you've almost done an unchristian act here. You've sacked them.
No. When you've got investigations going on, anybody will tell you, investigation of this count, when you've actually got some survivors, you just shut down the whole system to allow those who are doing the investigation. The truth with it, there's some people in there who are innocent, they end up implicated, and therefore they feel absolutely exposed, and I can feel their concern. And my friend, there is an investigation going on, and as a result, you've got to shut down the entire system, because if you don't do it, and you start getting some other vulnerable people coming forward with their complaints, who will be blamed? It will be the Dean. They didn't just stop it when they should have stopped it.
Have you had a face-to-face meeting with the bell ringers? Because they say they're prepared to meet you and discuss your concerns.
There is an investigation going on, and with that investigation, my friend, I can't do it. You know the law in this country. If a matter is being investigated, anybody putting in their nose, they're actually not going to actually help the process. And by the people who come out, for example, attacking the Dean for being incompetent, not doing it well, they're bringing us complaining, what I want to say to you, now you know the reason why. And while that investigation is going on, the court of public opinion should not pass its judgment purely on ignorance.
So the fact that the bells won't ring now until March, Easter next year, effectively, how do you react to the people like myself who live in York who expect the bells to ring as and when appropriate?
Well, until there is a proper group that has been put in place, the clarion will be ringing from time to time, but in face of the bell ringing, we need to make sure that place is secure for anybody who may be vulnerable in that particular place. And until that happens, that will be true of any organization. And because the bells are rung and everybody loves them, and I've seen 1,200 who signed a petition that should be ringing quickly, well, there's going to be spending a lot of money to create security in there, and safeguarding to be at the top priority of it. It'll cost some money. I hope I'm going to see the colour of the money of those people.
But
Can you tell us the exact health and safety concerns that you have with bell rings?
Safeguarding. Safeguarding towards vulnerable adults. And there are some survivors who complain.
Do you think that the way the meeting was handled last Tuesday evening, when the bell ringers were told brutally, as they said, that they were no longer to work, could it be handled with more Christian compassion?
I actually think that if you look at Jesus, the way he dealt with situations of that kind may look not Christian, but actually truth is always very hard. To say to people, from some of you, could only maybe one, there is safeguarding questions. And because of all of this, the policies are being implemented, inquiries are going on, in order not to cast aspersions on anybody while the investigation is going on, you are being closed. And they were told, when the security and safety and health safeguarding have been put in place, they will advertise for the head of the bell ringing, and they, that particular person, will be able to approach, and anybody actually can apply. And they will be assessed in terms of the policies of the Church of England. Now, I don't know whether you can do it any better. If it was a school, by the way, the inspection would have gone in and done exactly the same and shut it down.
When will we hear the results of the investigation?
Those are in the hands now of the investigators. I couldn't tell you when, I can't tell you how. All I'm telling you, there was a safeguarding question. And if you're so hot about closing the bell ringers, have thoughts for some survivors.
can I just ask you this? Do you feel that you have handled this, Dean, as well? Do you feel you have handled this properly? Could you have handled it any better, Your Grace?
We're dealing with an advice from, again, as I said to you, this advice, not only is it from our own churches, it has involved the City of York Council, Diocese Safeguarding Advisor, Church of England National Advising Officer, our lawyers, that was the best way to handle it, and I don't think if I face a similar situation, it'll be done exactly in the same. For too long, the church has allowed things that it shouldn't have allowed in terms of safeguarding. And it may sound brutal, it may sound cruel, and other people were innocent. It may appear as though they've been brought in. The truth is, it is for the health and well-being of everybody in this Minster, which I love, which I think is a great place. Shut it down, sort it out, and then, you see, if we didn't, and then you had some more other people coming, complaining, in terms of safeguarding, the dean would be roasted. So those who think that she shouldn't have done what she did, and actually she was doing it with the dean and chapter, and I was informed of what they were going to do, and I said they had no choice. They had no choice. And the other thing is, I've worked in many cathedrals, and I've been here for 10 years. Dean Viv, for me, is one of the best deans I've ever worked with. She follows procedures by the letter. I mean, she's more rigid than some people. Secondly, she has got compassion in her heart. And secondly, she actually loves people. It is very difficult for her to have singled out, we're doing it because of X, Y, Z, when the investigation is still going on. That would be unfair. So you've got to wait until the investigation is finished. But you're part of a team, you're part of a family. And the other thing to remember, Harry, it takes all of us to be concerned about safeguarding, and not from a distance, because there have been a lot of people whose lives have been blighted. And because of that, if I'm in a team, like football, we're all playing the game together. And this Minster, which is a wonderful place, which has got some of the best administration that I've known for a very long time, for the dean to be treated as if she's incompetent, she's not able, she's not professional, she's hard-hearted, well, they're not describing what I know. And I just feel like saying what Martin Luther King Jr. said about racism. He said that racism grows because of ignorance. And sadly, ignorance is not in such short supply. There is a lot of ignorance about how cathedrals work. I mean, they thought I could reverse the decision of the dean and chapter. I can't. If they hadn't got it right and hadn't had proper legal advice, proper safeguarding questions, I would have questioned.
Dean, I don't know whether you want to say anything, but do you feel vilified by everything that's been said about you? Because you seem to be the person who people's angst is centred on at the moment.
Inevitably, it's difficult being singled out for a decision that was taken corporately and unanimously. And I think that's all I want to say today. I hope very much we can move on.
And also I want to add, it is not only they took it, they're responsible for the administration, maintenance. I am a visitor who sometimes can come and visit to find out whether they've done it wrong. My chair is over there. I'm 100% behind what that action was taken by the Dean and chapter. They really had to take it otherwise.
And would you change anything, Dean, about the way this has been done to stop these kind of unpleasant headlines?
Are you assuming that they're not going to put into place the policies which will make this no longer a possibility?
Your Grace, I am assuming that, but I'd like to hear the Dean say that, please.
Exactly. We have to follow the advice both of professionals locally and the Church of England nationally. And that's what we have been urged to do, and we have done it.
And the other things to say, I'm hoping when the policies have all been in place, the investigation has gone on and concluded its particular thing, and the Dean and chapter are sure about health, safety, security, safeguarding. Should another thing like that happen, in spite of all whatever I've done, because human beings being sinners, and it happens again, I won't hesitate telling her you got to do exactly the same thing again. Otherwise, a lot of vulnerable people who are survivors are being left in a very, very vulnerable place. And that cannot be tolerated by anybody, no matter how lovely the bells ring. I mean, I love the bell ringers. They rang those bells when I came here as Archbishop. You know, wonderful changes of nearly 4,000. Fantastic. But just remember, health, safety, security, safeguarding, I'm afraid, are not to be disregarded.